Welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Thanks for stopping by. Today I wanted to talk about some signs, 9 signs actually, that your new relationship may be in need of an intervention of some kind. Doesn't mean that you need to break up necessarily, although it might in some of these circumstances. Doesn't mean you need professional counseling, although you may in some of these circumstances. But some type of a stop point, reassess, regroup, have a conversation, talk to a friend or a trusted advisor might be in order if any of these 9 are something that you're contending with in a relationship that's kind of just still new, getting off the ground, maybe very new. If that's at all interesting, I hope you'll stick around. If you're new, I'm Carrie. I am a matchmaker and a dating coach. Talk about dating and relating all the time. And I hope you'll check out this episode because 9 signs your new relationship may require an intervention. That's what's on the agenda. Number 1, you're spending more time talking about your relationship than actually having a relationship. This often looks like lots of time spent discussing problems rather than spending time creating new memories and experiences to create a foundation for the relationship. If that's the case, you may want to call a little stop point and figure out why you keep bringing up problems and not trying to have some fun together. New experiences are the joy of a new relationship. And you want to make sure that this is a positive experience and you're getting to know each other by having more time together and doing things you both enjoy. Number 2 is just somebody or both of you choosing to focus on the negativity rather than the positivity. We always have a choice of how we want to look at situations. And if you're always nitpicking and looking for the negatives when there are plenty of positives to choose from, it's just a bad choice. And the intervention in this one is as simple as just replacing your dark tinted glasses with rose colored glasses. I think that whenever possible, remembering why you like this person, why you chose to start a relationship with this person can be really helpful. And also appreciating the differences between the two of you. And sometimes conflicts are just because you look at things differently or came to this situation, this relationship from different places, obviously, and you're just not used to this person's perspective. And if you can appreciate that they got to your relationship on a completely different path and therefore are going to look at a lot of things differently, you can find a common ground and an understanding, and you don't have to agree on everything. Well, that last one was pretty benign. This one can be a problem more often, a little bit more serious. And that's when you find that somebody is trying to be your everything and they're creating obstacles to spending time with other people in your life, right? You're being dissuaded from hanging out with your friends or spending time with your family. They want to be with you all the time. And sometimes that's great very early on. You're just both so taken with one another. But it should be remembered, I think, that nobody can be all things to another person. We all need a support system and other friends and important people, family in our lives besides our romantic partner. So if that's the case, have a conversation and say, I want you to see your friends and family. I would love spending time with you, but I think it's really healthy for a relationship to be apart from each other sometimes so that we can come together anew and appreciate each other when we are apart, miss each other, right? You can't miss somebody if they're always right there. Number 4 is having the same arguments over and over. And you know why that happens. It's because you argue about it, somebody gets angry, they typically walk away, and you never take the time to find the resolution. So the intervention in this situation is to sit down, discuss it, get to the bottom of it, see if there's something beneath the surface that's really causing this surface problem to appear over and over again, and figure it out together as a couple so that you can move past this and be rid of any negativity from something that just keeps popping up and never getting solved. Number 5 is the opposite of people trying to separate you from the rest of the people in your support system. This one is that you both seem to be, or one of you seems to be choosing to be away more and more often, and you're spending less and less time together. And I think in this situation, the intervention can only be a conversation. Is there something going on that I'm not aware of in your scheduling, or is there something between us that you're upset about, or have I said something? Have we had a misunderstanding I'm unaware of? Just a conversation probably would be enough in this situation. Are you pulling away? Is there something you want to tell me? A conversation like that might get to the bottom of it. If not, of course, you can always, especially if this is now a committed relationship, follow up with counseling if you don't get the answers that really satisfy you. But I would start this one with a conversation between the two of you first. Number 6 is much heavier than the previous ones. This is the one that's toxic, so toxic, in fact, that I've made a whole episode about it, and I will link to it here. If you are experiencing any type of contempt in your relationship, I would always recommend that if this is a committed relationship or a marriage, that you definitely seek counseling in this situation. If it's a new relationship, as I've set up this episode, honestly, if you were my friend, my family member, myself, my loved one, therefore I'm recommending to you the same in a very new relationship where someone is belittling you, making you feel less than, making you feel stupid in situations, they're rolling eyes at you, making you feel invalidated in any way, I would walk in that situation. Nobody needs to be treated like that. We're supposed to be in relationships where we're equals. We're supposed to be in relationships where we're equals with somebody, and that is the opposite of that. That's not a healthy relationship. As I said, counseling if you're already in it, but if it's very early on, there's other fish in the sea, other people who will treat you the way you deserve to be treated. If you need some more answers on what that looks like or what counseling looks like, check out the link to the episode. And that's the bad one here. That's the biggie, the baddie. And I hope that's not happening to you or anyone you know. Number 7 is like somebody refusing to change, right? You've had conversations. They've said, oh, yeah, I know that bothers you. I'm not going to do that anymore. But there's no follow through. And what do you do in a situation? You can't just live with somebody who says they're going to do things and they don't do things. I think you start with a conversation. That's the immediate intervention. And sometimes I think what works best in that situation is, they say, be the change you want to see in the world. Sometimes the answer is to be the change you want to see in the relationship. So if you're asking them to do something behaviorally and it's something you automatically do anyway, do it more. Like I will use the example of my ex. He'd get up in the middle of a movie, get something to drink, come back, and never ask me if I wanted something. I'm the person who always gets up, says, hey, I'm going in the kitchen to get a Diet Coke. Do you want one while I'm up? Well, I started really saying, hey, do you need anything while I'm up? Do you want this? Do you want that? You want the other? Do you want me to run to the store and get you some cookies? Just like really not really, but you get the idea. I played it up that I was so thoughtful and so kind of over the top in offering him things that he couldn't go in the kitchen without remembering that and thinking to offer me. And if that doesn't work, somebody's really just not paying attention or picking up what you're laying down, a conversation saying, hey, did you ever notice that when I go in the kitchen, I always ask if you want something? Did you ever notice that you never do that? You just kind of come back with your own? Sometimes they're just unaware people of what they're doing if they're being thoughtless like that and say, oh, we didn't really do that in my family, or I never thought about that. And behavior can change. So something to keep in mind. It's a easy intervention most of the time. Number 8 would be somebody who is a flipper. Do you know a flipper? That's somebody who, when you bring up something that's irking you, bothering you, or that's annoying, or you've had a conversation, yet they keep doing this over and over. It could be anything as simple as leaving the toilet up or a deeper, more serious issue. But whenever you bring it up, they flip it around so that it's about you doing something wrong. Like, let's say it was the toilet seat. Why do you have to be so controlling that you even have to talk about how I leave the toilet seat? No one's ever said anything to me before. This is about you. Or they just turn it around always. Well, you always do this, and I never complain about that. Hey, we're not in kindergarten. We're not having a conversation about me. This was about you in the toilet seat or whatever it is. So the flipper is a very annoying thing, and you can try having a conversation and say, hey, I don't really like when things are calm, you have a conversation. I don't like when I'm trying to share with you how I feel about something or how it makes me feel when you do this. And then you flip it around and we're talking about something completely different. If you have some things you want to voice to me that you'd like me to work on, let's discuss that. But let's not discuss it all at once, one thing at a time. If that doesn't work, counseling, or maybe this isn't your person. And then finally, number 9 is about secrecy. If you feel that there is secrecy in your relationship, it means there's a lack of trust somehow. If you are finding yourself not sharing things with the person or having to hide information because you're afraid of the reaction you're going to get, this intervention requires you taking a good look at why this is happening, if you're the perpetrator of the secrecy, and if you're feeling untrusting of this person, you got to find out why, right? Are they doing something? Is it just your reaction based on a past relationship? But a little introspection here, a conversation always helps most situations. And getting to the bottom of this one is probably important in a new relationship because trust is very important. And secrets, really, unless they're planning a birthday party, buying a present, making some fun plans behind your back, have no place in a romantic relationship that's built on a foundation of trust. So I hope you found those interesting. I hope you did not find them helpful because you have none of those issues in your new relationship. But if you do, there's resources available. And if the contempt one is yours, make sure you please check out that episode. And I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. Oh, Mom says also give it a thumbs up. She likes those thumbs up. She's my little mouthpiece over there, so I don't have to say it. I'll say please subscribe to the channel. I'll look forward to having you back again soon. And until next time, have a good one.